Tonight on CTV News at 6, looking for places to play.
Investment in sport and recreation is an investment in Edmonton.
From arenas to pools to turf, demand has surpassed supply for Edmonton sports facilities. Struggling up one of rural Alberta's muddiest commutes.
Unfortunately, I did hit the ditch with my 17-day-old newborn.
And cracking open a time capsule.
I was 8 years old, and I just wrote everything about me at the time, which was hilarious.
An Edmonton elementary takes its kids back to the turn of the millennium.
And then I wrote everything that I thought I would be like in 25 years.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Anyone involved in sports in our city has likely encountered issues finding a place to play. Whether it's arenas, courts, pools, or pitches, demand is outpacing supply. That's why one group of sport advocates is pushing Edmontonians to raise the issue as a wave of public consultation begins ahead of this fall's budget. Jeremy Thompson is at St. Elizabeth Seton School, where the first of 12 sessions is happening this evening. Jeremy, what are people there tonight speaking about?
Well, Jeff, I've had a chance to chat with a few people since doors opened here about a half hour ago. Some tell me they just want the city to keep spending down as much as possible to keep taxes low. Some people want to focus on snow clearing. Others take issue with some aspects of neighborhood renewal. I've seen the words bike lanes posted on a number of the boards around the gym here quite a few times as well. As you mentioned, this is the first of 12 of these public info sessions happening in every ward. Everything city related is on the table, including, as we mentioned, recreation space. Fresh from hosting another successful mini World Cup tournament, the Edmonton and District Soccer Association is looking ahead to a busy outdoor season for its adult leagues.
The numbers are up a little bit over last year, which means more challenges for us in terms of finding facilities and referees.
EDSA rents field time at this 13-pitch facility in the Northwest, but it's not enough. So the league has to book other fields, which are always in high demand, pushing games later and further away.
We've had to extend our season for some of our divisions well into September because we simply can't find enough fields from May to August.
Whether it's soccer pitches, ball diamonds, swimming pools, arenas, or courts, Sport Edmonton says demand is outpacing supply for all kinds of facilities. That's why the advocacy group asked its members to participate in the public consultation for the city's new budget process.
Investment in sport and recreation is an investment in Edmonton.
CEO Evan Dom says given the city's finances, the private sector will likely have to help build new facilities. He says privately run places like the Scottish Soccer Dome or Silent Ice Arena show it can be done.
That's a facility that I think is a good model, and there's some ways, again, to get creative with the funding. It's not going to be just the city of Edmonton stepping to the plate and saying we're going to build this facility on our own. That's not the solution long term.
Maybe they get a grant, but the city gets programming times.
Even if there's a way to pay for more facilities, they still take years to build. Councillor Aaron Paquette suggests existing city park space could be quickly turned into temporary sports fields, especially if it's underused, like the new Northeast River Valley Park.
Put in the lines, put in a few goalposts or things like that, and increase that capacity immediately. Those are things that...
Councillor Aaron Paquette is here tonight to hear from people in his ward, Dene here, and that is the plan for the rest of these 12 info sessions as well. Each councillor from each ward is expected to be there. The mayor is planning to be at each of these sessions as well to hear from the public, and this really is teeing up the city's zero-based budgeting process going into the fall, where they're really planning to build the budget kind of from the studs up, so Edmontonians know exactly what we're all paying for. And again, this is supposed to happen from here tonight from 5:30 until 8:30 tonight. Jeff?
Jeremy, thank you. The province is spending $22 million on measures it believes will strengthen school safety. It's part of the provincial government's response to February's deadly shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC. Alberta's education minister previously ordered schools to do a safety audit. The province says the one-time grant of $20 million will be spent on upgrading security infrastructure. $2 million will be spent on safety training for school staff. The money will be distributed between school boards based on enrollment. The opposition NDP is launching a pro-Canada campaign to mobilize Albertans ahead of a possible separation referendum. The petition for that referendum is in an Edmonton courtroom, which is determining whether it violates Indigenous treaty rights. Connor Hogg reports.
We're not sleepwalking into this referendum.
Alberta's NDP says it wants to speak to Albertans ahead of a provincial separation referendum.
We're not repeating the mistake of the people who thought Brexit would never pass. We're getting out there now, we're mobilizing people, we're showing them how and where and when to vote, and we're helping them talk to their neighbours.
NDP leader Naheed Nenshi says the new group is needed because of rules that may limit advertising by those behind the Forever Canadian petition.
Think of it as sort of going in the same direction in two separate canoes.
Thomas Lukazik says the two groups aren't related and likely wouldn't merge due to Forever Canadian's nonpartisan stance. He believes there's room for both.
I still would prefer if our MLAs, who swore a vote of allegiance to the Crown to be MLAs in the first place, vote on this issue. What's so difficult?
Speaking at Calgary's Rotary Club, Premier Danielle Smith says a government committee will determine what to do with the Forever Canadian signatures. She's also watching the pro-separation petition.
I hope that if we do end up having this question debated in October, that I'll be able to do some more convincing, because I think Canada is worth fighting for.
Meanwhile, the legal fight resumed in an Edmonton courtroom. Lawyers for an Alberta First Nation say the separation referendum devalues the treaty rights of Indigenous people. Provincial lawyers say citizen initiative petitions are policy development rather than legislation. Stay Free Alberta's Jeffrey Rath says the Referendum Act does not force the province to implement results, regardless of the outcome.
It's just a way for citizens to express their view on a policy that's different from government. My government policy is we support a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada.
She says she's for a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. Those are meaningless words.
The judge is expected to make a decision on the potential pause of the separation petition tomorrow or early next week. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Police are searching for a man who broke into a cigar shop in Leduc wearing a Spider-Man mask. Police say 2 weeks ago, the thief broke into the shop on 51st Street and 50th Ave through the roof using the empty neighboring store. The security cameras and alarms were cut right after the person got inside. The store's owner believes $60,000 to $65,000 worth of cigars, vapes, and cigarettes were stolen. Cash from the register and a safe with a week's worth of money were also taken. The suspect was wearing a Spider-Man mask with a yellow jacket and gloves. Drivers say their complaints about a secondary highway northwest of Edmonton have been ignored for too long. An Onaway woman who uses the road daily says the steep terrain mixed with poor weather conditions is a recipe for disaster. Nariman Issa reports.
Even on a sunny day, Taylor Kesser is concerned about weather conditions.
Anytime it rains or there's melting or even icy road conditions, anytime I have to drive anywhere, take my son to preschool or go get groceries, I'm having to worry about their safety, unfortunately.
Kesser lives off this stretch of Highway 633 near the town of Onaway. A road sign warns drivers of its steep terrain, which causes visibility issues at the top. Certain weather conditions make a mess of the roads. The deep mud ruts even pushed our CTV vehicle further off the road, where we had to reverse to get back on track.
Even last spring, there was muddy conditions and I was unable to control my vehicle at the top of the hill and on the way down. Unfortunately, I did hit the ditch with my 17-day-old newborn.
Taylor says not only is she concerned about sliding into the ditch again, she's afraid that emergency vehicles will not be able to tackle that hill if she ever needed to call 911.
I have actually had quite a few close calls, unfortunately, with people that just maybe aren't paying enough close attention. You really have to be very cautious coming up and down the hill.
Kesser says she didn't realize how bad the road would be when she moved here 2 years ago. Her neighbor has known for decades.
And then they brought used gravel on it, put mud on it, and now there's just the new gravel they put on it is the mud. So you have to hit that bottom of the hill when it's bad at least 80 to 90 clicks.
Kesser has complained to her MLA and directly to Ledcor, the company that maintains the road. Just adding gravel isn't a solution for her.
It's just a temporary bandage fix, which has been done for years and years and years, and it's still bad.
CTV News has reached out to Ledcor and the province for comment. Nariman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
And just minutes ago, the province's transportation department says it is aware of the concerns and has assessed the area. It says a maintenance foreman is coordinating next steps. The Edmonton Oil Kings roster will look different next season with at least 6 players leaving. That includes defenseman Ethan McKenzie, who's going to play college hockey in North Dakota.
My mom's really happy about that. She always wanted me to go to school and kind of get an education. So, I'm super proud and honored that I've worked to get myself an opportunity to go play college, and lucky enough that it kind of fit me at the right time. But, you know, it's tough to say goodbye to Edmonton. This is my second home, my second family, so.
McKenzie played his final game with the team Monday when the Oil Kings lost Game 7 to the Saskatoon Blades in overtime. Despite being considered the favorites, the Oil Kings never led that first-round series. Oil Kings captain Gavin Hodnett just finished his 4th season with the team. He could potentially return as an overager.
Very honored to be a leader in this organization and to play for this organization for 4 years. And if I had the opportunity to do it again for my 5th, that would be absolutely an honor. And
right now, you know, lots of guys have decisions to make on what their future holds and what the summer is going to look like and heading into next year. And, you know, as a manager, it's, you know, right now players could be saying one thing and that could change by the time they're expected back August 24th.
During their 4 home playoff games, the Oil Kings welcomed an average of 5,200 fans a game. Edmonton Oilers are closer to securing a playoff spot. Connor McDavid scored a hat trick and assisted on the Oilers' other 2 goals during a 5-2 win in San Jose last night. Evan Bouchard picked up 2 assists, making him the 2nd defenseman in team history to surpass 90 points in a season. He currently has more points than any other blue liner in the league. The Oilers wrap up a 3-game road trip Saturday afternoon against the LA Kings. Country crooner Zach Top is extending his tour, adding Edmonton to the list of stops. Cold Beer and Country Music Tour takes over Rogers Place July the 16th. Top was recently named New Artist of the Year at the CMA Awards. Pre-sales for tickets start Wednesday. All right, first look at weather. Josh is out in Keswick tonight. Josh.
Yeah, I'm here with huge Calgary Flames fan, Braden.
What? Oilers? What are you talking about?
I'm just trolling you, Braden. This is the mighty Braden, who's going to tell us a little bit about his story. You have a long history with the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation. I mean, or with the hospital. You've been there basically. I mean, your first trip was like hours after you were born.
I'll just say I'm 12 days, 3 months old, and I've been with the Stollery for 12 days and 3 months.
Yes,
or 12 years and 3 months.
You've been in and out of the Stollery over and over again. In fact, just a couple weeks ago you were there, right?
6 weeks ago for my back fusion.
And how did things go?
Good.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, you've been there for a lot of different reasons,
We
but
counted 300 nights.
300 nights spent inside the Stollery. Okay, so how did they treat you there?
Good.
Yeah.
The beach is fun.
The beach is fun. What do you think of the new redesigned beach?
The only part I don't like is that you can't go in the sandcastle. Like, they make it. It looks good, but it should be like a play structure. Like,
Right. Well, just imagine how good it's going to be in the new standalone
you should like double it.
Stollery Hospital, right? It's
My
gonna be-
favorite's the air hockey.
Yeah, everybody does like the, and you're a big athlete as well. Okay, so obviously we want you to buy tickets in the Mighty Millions lottery so that we can have more happy outcomes for kids like Braden. Why do you think people should buy tickets, though, Braden?
To build the new Stollery?
Yeah.
So that the beach can double.
There you go. And hey, listen, win-win on this as well, because not only are you helping out the Stollery and kids like Braden, but when you buy tickets, you have a chance to win not only this house, but also, if you get them before midnight tomorrow, is the early bird prize. Tell me about the early bird prize, Braden.
It's the BMW in Barcelona.
Yes.
Or 200,000.
Very good. Good memory. Would you take the car and the trip to Barcelona or $200,000?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. Probably the car in Barcelona, even though I'm probably back to car to the office.
Yeah. Oh, you want to drive that car, don't you? You know what? We're going to put Braden in the front seat of that car a little bit later. I was a tease. It's called a tease. How was that? It was warm today, 9 degrees. Be even warmer tomorrow. Come back, watch Braden check out the BMW, and we'll have your forecast all in a couple minutes. Excellent work, Braden. Huge Calgary Flames fan.
Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Josh. Still to come, hitting the field with flags.
We've seen participation grow by 100% every year.
Why flag football is growing in popularity and what it means for local teams. Plus,
so this is an important step. Most swimmers are going to do 1 or 2 big meets.
Why some of the country's top swimmers are in Edmonton.
The CTV drone powered by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Local flag football organizations say the fast-growing sport has seen an explosion of registrations for the upcoming season. They credit professional athletes and celebrities for helping it score a touchdown with all demographics. Evan Kenny has more on the growth of the game.
Right there, run a double move. Let's see what he's got.
Here's Hurts, letting it go deep. Devontae Smith running under it. He's got it.
Hail Mary passes.
Little fake Burrow. Nice cut.
Ankle-breaking moves.
Odell Beckham Jr.
And world-class athletes. It looks like the NFL football millions watch on Sundays, minus the big hits and huge recognition. But flag football is coming on strong.
Across the country, flag football is growing at a monumental level. We've seen participation grow by 100% every year.
Lori Ekdahl from NFL Flag Edmonton credits the growth in popularity in part to NFLers trying flag football. The dynamic sport will also make its Olympic debut in 2028.
The more you see something, the more you get interested in it. So I think it's definitely increasing curiosity about the sport.
We have almost 600 kids hitting the field this spring.
NFL Flag Edmonton isn't fumbling the opportunity. It's getting set to host its biggest tournament yet. 24 teams will play for a chance to go to nationals and possibly represent Canada internationally.
Somebody who doesn't have any experience in football, this is a really safe way to enter into the sport. You aren't worried about getting tackled.
The tournament has U10, 12, and 14 divisions, but adults can also play this spring by registering on the Edmonton Adult Flag Football League website.
There's always a space for everybody. That's always been the best part about football to me.
Players will hit the field in May. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Kinsman Centre is playing host to 300 swimmers from 6 countries for the 2026 Speedo Canadian Swimming Open. Senior athletes, including Olympians and Paralympians, will take their mark over the next 3 days. The meet kickstarts the long course season with races happening in 50-meter long pools. It gives athletes the opportunity to compete with and understand their opponents. Organizers believe the Open is gaining international recognition, with athletes from more countries entering to compete.
So really a dress rehearsal for the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. So this is an important step. Most swimmers are going to do 1 or 2 big meets.
It's still kind of a training meet for us, but I still want to perform. I'm not taking it easy. So yeah, regular meet should be fun.
Swimmers compete until Saturday. Tickets are still available. Still to come, a curated collection from a quarter century ago.
25 years from now, what would you like to be doing as a job?
Playing as a hockey player in the NHL.
Students past and present take a little trip back in time.
Hey, it was a warm one today. It's going to get even warmer tomorrow. You might even call it hot, like these wheels. You like this car, Braden?
Yes.
Yeah? You going to take it for a spin around the block?
Sure.
No, you're not. We will show you the forecast, though, right after the break. Nice.
All right, so let's talk about why the snow melts so much faster in the spring. Now, most people just think, well, it's warmer in spring, right? That's why the snow melts so much faster. But you get some warm days in December and January where it's way above zero, and the snow doesn't melt that fast. It has more to do with what? Not just the warmth, but everybody. The sun. The sun's rays are stronger because in the wintertime, where are the sun's most direct rays? North or south of the equator? South of the equator. our days are shorter. Sun comes in at a really low angle. It's spread out over a large area. It's not very strong. In the summertime, where are the sun's most direct rays in the summertime? North of the equator. So we're getting into that period now where days are starting to get longer and the sun is starting to get stronger. So it still snows in the spring, but does it last as long as the winter time? No, it melts way faster. These are the grade 5s from smart kids out here in St. Albert. Weather whiz kids, and you are
CTV Weather Watchers! Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Students at a West Edmonton school have discovered what life was like at the turn of the century. A time capsule was cracked open today. Among the items inside, video interviews with students about their dreams. As Amanda Anderson shows us, one well-known former student who achieved his dream was there.
We're at Good Shepherd School.
This assembly at Good Shepherd Catholic Elementary is more than 2 decades in the making.
Thought this would be really neat to plan for the future, to put some everyday things into a box, stick it on a shelf here and wait 25 years. And I'm so glad it came to fruition. Nobody threw it out.
The contents of a time capsule from the year 2000 revealed for students present and past.
I was 8 years old. And I just wrote everything about me at the time, which was hilarious. And then I wrote everything that I thought I would be like in 25 years.
In the future, I predict that there will be cars without making one bit of pollution.
There was also a VHS tape of student interviews.
I would really like to be a doctor when I grow up.
This student may look familiar.
25 years from now, what would you like to be doing as a job?
Playing as a hockey player in the NHL.
A dream the grade 5 student achieved.
Pinching myself a little bit at this time because, you know, my whole life I was looking forward, and now it's nice to kind of take a look back at everything.
Retired NHL player, former Edmonton Oiler Tyler Ennis returned to his old school to surprise students at the assembly.
It was really cool just getting to see him and seeing what he was like when he was younger than my age.
I grew up across the field. I walked to school every day. I was a kid just like them around this neighborhood, and if you dream about something and you put in a lot of effort and work and time, that, you know, great things can happen.
What your favorite song would be?
Steal My Sunshine.
I don't mind that song actually, but my taste in music has changed a bit as I got older, but it wasn't the worst choice.
A day celebrating the past that left this student inspired for the future, with hopes of becoming the second student from Good Shepherd to play in the NHL. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Okay, let's go back out to Josh and Keswick. The big warm-up tomorrow, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, today already felt fantastic. Lots of sunshine. We got up to 9 degrees for a daytime high, but should be in the 13 or 14 degree range for a high tomorrow. And I think we're still double digits on Saturday. I'll get to all that in a moment. First, take a look outside right now with the River Valley Sky Cam. You can see some breaks in the cloud cover out there. 7 degrees currently. Skycam's brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. 9 degrees here in the city for a daytime high. You had 7 in Red Deer, 3 for Fort McMurray, and 5 in Grand Prairie for daytime highs today. So one of the warm spots here in the Edmonton area. A little bit of extra cloud cover there further to the north. We've had some scattered flurries as well in parts of northeastern Alberta. Here in Edmonton, after a sunny start to the day, a bit of cloud cover increased through this afternoon. It's starting to break up a little bit now, and we should be partly cloudy to mainly clear through the late evening and overnight period. Big story is that warm air off to the west-southwest that's going to ripple through. That'll keep all the heavier cloud cover and the snow well to the north of us. So there's tomorrow from Edmonton south. Fairly sunny skies once again. Nice kick of heat pushes us to about 13 or 14 for a daytime high. Look further north, though. Not only cloudy, but you've got some snow moving into the high-level Peace River regions. And then the heaviest of the snow through the day Saturday is going to fall in and around Fort McMurray. So from Fort McMurray all the way back to just north of Peace River, I think by late Saturday, you're looking at least 5 to 10, some spots maybe as much as 15 centimeters worth of snow. Here in Edmonton, though, We're still on the warm side of things. Cloudier for Saturday, but still on the warm side of that system. Look off to the northwest. Behind that system, there is a cooler push of air that comes in from the northwest. And so that will give us at least a chance of some mixed precipitation, sort of a rain-snow mix there for Saturday late night, and then the possibility for some flurries. It is looking less and less likely that we get a big snowstorm on Sunday here in the Edmonton area. I do still think there's a pretty good chance, though, that we'll see at least some flurries or light snow. Big drop in temperature as well. 13 tomorrow, 11 on Saturday. We're back to 5 on Sunday. Still not bad, but below average. Another rebound Monday, Tuesday of next week, and then another cool down. So there's your spring swings that we were talking about a couple days ago with temperatures. 3 degrees in Fort McMurray right now. It's 5 in Grand Prairie, 7 in both Red Deer and Edmonton. Jasper, double digits, 11 degrees currently. We'll see temperatures through this evening drop to about -1, up to 13 for a daytime high tomorrow afternoon. Light wind, way more sun than cloud. 11 degrees Saturday, that chance of some mixed precipitation late Saturday night, and then a chance of flurries or light snow and a high of 5 on Sunday before temperatures rebound again into Monday, Tuesday. We're inside the grand prize home in the Mighty Millions lottery supporting the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation. You could win this house plus $100,000 cash. That's the grand prize. Or if you get your tickets before midnight tomorrow, you'll also have a chance at winning the BMW in Barcelona Early Bird Prize, the brand new car that we did not allow Braden to drive off in, as well as 10 days of a luxurious vacation in Barcelona. Or you could take $200,000 cash. Go to mightymillionslottery.com. Don't forget about the 50-50 as well. The add-on for that, your take would be half of just over $1.3 million. Long-range forecast, again, warm for the short term, little cool down briefly Sunday, and another warm-up early next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, a shaky ceasefire holds for now.
No ceasefire ever goes without a little bit of choppiness. What we have been very clear about is that we want to stop the bombing.
Unease and optimism on day 2 of Donald Trump's deal with Iran, and
be cautious about what you believe.
A rare White House address from Melania Trump.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino, 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
The ceasefire in the war with Iran is now into its second day and holding, though it's on shaky ground. Tehran has already accused the U.S. and Israel of violating the ceasefire's terms. With more, here's CTV's Joy Malvin in Washington.
Israel blew up bridges in Lebanon in its battle against Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants. Yesterday's bombings in Beirut, one of the deadliest, says the health ministry, killing hundreds and wounding more. Angering Iran, who insists that attacking Lebanon is off limits and part of the ceasefire.
No ceasefire ever goes without a little bit of choppiness. What we have been very clear about is that we want to stop the bombing. We want our allies to stop the bombing, and we want the Iranians to do the same thing.
The Trump administration asked Israel to scale back. Today, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu authorizing direct talks with Lebanon aimed at disarming Hezbollah and bolstering a shaky truce with Iran that still has a grip on the Strait of Hormuz. Video shows very little traffic moving through the critical oil and shipping route, opening it a key demand from President Donald Trump, who issued a new warning saying the U.S. military will remain in Iran until such time as the real agreement reached is fully complied with. If not, then the shooting starts bigger and better and stronger. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the alliance is working with Washington to keep the strait open. President Trump has repeatedly threatened to withdraw from NATO over a lack of support for his war in Iran.
Some allies were a bit slow, to say the least. But what I see when I look across Europe today is allies providing a massive amount of support, basing, logistics and other measures to ensure the powerful US military succeeds in denying Iran a nuclear weapon.
And those high-stakes peace talks set to take place this weekend in Pakistan. The president telling reporters that he's optimistic, adding that if Iran doesn't make a deal, it will be very painful. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
A flurry of questions today about MP Marilyn Gladue and her decision to join the Liberal caucus. She was a staunch Conservative before suddenly switching allegiance. Here's CTV's Abigail Beeman on what both Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre had to say about this floor crosser and the possibility of more to come.
The Liberals are in for 4 long years.
A Conservative so dyed in the wool she dressed up as Death.
Death is not ready for you.
To pump up her election-defeated colleagues a decade ago. A few years later,
my name is Marilyn Gladue, and I'm running to be the federal leader of the Conservative Party and the next Prime Minister of Canada.
Today's Liberal Prime Minister left explaining how the newly bigger tent Liberal Party absorbs Gladue, a social conservative who fought a bill banning conversion therapy for being too broad and said she'd allow MPs to advance bills restricting abortion.
She will vote with the government if there are votes relating to any aspect of that issue, as well as the rights of Canadians to be their whole selves, to love who they love, and to fully enjoy their rights.
Mark Carney is saying to Canadians, your vote does not count.
In BC, the Conservative leader said constituents should be able to have a by-election after a floor crossing, and he deflected a question about what losing 4 MPs means for his leadership.
87% of grassroots Conservatives who backed up my leadership less than 90 days ago to fight for an affordable, safe, and strong Canada. Our mandate and my leadership does not come from dirty backroom deals.
While the newest federal party leader sees the floor crossings as an opportunity.
They're getting floor crossers from the extreme right, and I don't know what it means to be a Liberal anymore. Canadians need a progressive alternative, and the lane is wide open for the NDP there.
Asked about the possibility of even more floor crossers, which has political circles buzzing, the Prime Minister said in this process he's nearly the last to know. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. First Lady is denying ties to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in a rare White House address.
Numerous fake images and statements about Epstein and me have been circulating on social media for years now. Be cautious about what you believe.
Melania Trump says she had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes and that she never had a relationship with his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. She claims she's being falsely linked to them for financial and political reasons. The First Lady also called on Congress to allow Epstein's victims to testify under oath. It's unclear what prompted these comments about Epstein, who is a friend of Donald Trump. Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke about Canadian pride during a call last night with the Artemis II astronauts.
Canadians are so proud of what you're doing and the collaboration, and I just want to have a chance, if I may. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled to be speaking with you, Jeremy, and the crew.
Mark Carney told Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen about the thrill of seeing the maple leaf on display in the spacecraft. Hansen promised to give the Prime Minister a maple leaf patch that has been flying in space. The Artemis II crew is on its way back to Earth after a historic lunar flyby. Splashdown is expected tomorrow night. Researchers have made incredible medical advancements in recent years, some of which could end rare and debilitating illnesses. But often there isn't enough funding to get those treatments to patients. As CTV's Penny Daflos reports, families across the country could benefit from technology that's only in reach for the ultra-rich.
On a perfect day for play, Gurmo Singil looks like any other kid having fun, especially when trucks and cars are involved.
Always cheerful, energetic. He makes me feel special.
The 3-year-old's parents noticed he was having trouble when he first started walking and have been devastated by his diagnosis, spastic paraplegia type 4.
It's going to keep on damaging his nerves. And then they said eventually he will lose his ability to walk. Then there are cases where literally everything, like arms, speech, mental capacity, it will take everything away from him.
Unwilling to accept that, his mom researched the genetic condition and discovered McGill researchers have the expertise and gene editing know-how to treat it.
That needs to be tailor-made. It sounds a little fantascientific, a little science fiction, but it can be done.
There are already inspiring cases here in BC.
He was cured of this lifelong disease.
And in the U.S.
By the next day, he was up, laughing, looking around.
Where life-threatening conditions have been treated with gene therapy.
But each attempt costs several $1 million. Some work, some don't, and that means profit-driven pharmaceutical companies and governments struggling with deficits focus on the broader population rather than rare diseases.
This is quite expensive, and usually the way to go has been support via foundations, fundraising. I think the appropriate public control on these things is the way to go. We cannot accept astronomical high prices.
The Gills are in talks with the federal government to access rare disease funding and have started a GoFundMe for the treatment that could help hundreds of Canadians and change the course of Gurmo's life.
We have the technology, we have doctors, researchers, everybody saying we have everything set up ready.
Spending that money now would avoid future costs to our healthcare system of a paraplegic patient. And setting the cost-benefit analysis aside,
no child should be deprived of, a cure or a treatment just because of money.
Penny Daflos, CTV News, Surrey.
Coming up, low-paying rides.
There's not enough work to go around, and the work that is offered to us is very low-paying.
Why some rideshare drivers are turning to food banks, also ahead. Why the town of Sylvan Lake weighs in favor of staying a town. Looking at the markets, the Canadian dollar closed near 72 cents U.S. Oil climbed to $3.46, closing the day at $97.87 a barrel. Gold gained $40 on the day. The TSX finished down 142 points. The Dow Jones is up 275. On day 2 of the ceasefire in Iran, gas prices have hardly changed, and it's having repercussions if you need to get around. As CTV's Heather Wright tells us, even rideshare drivers are turning down calls if they think it's not worth the cost of fuel.
Erla Phillips has been a rideshare driver for nearly 10 years, and she has never made less money than she is right now.
It has been really difficult. There's not enough work to go around, and the work that is offered to us is very low paying.
She drives with Uber and Lyft and says the algorithms used by the two companies mean some rides only pay out $2 or $3. That, coupled with the high price of gas, means she is flat out rejecting rides that won't turn a profit.
And you were saying that you used to have a high acceptance rate.
At one point, I was 85%.
And now?
Now it fluctuates between the high teens and, 20-something.
Phillips says she's not the only driver struggling. She says some are quitting altogether, while others are losing their cars.
There are drivers that are having their cars repossessed. There are drivers that are going to food banks. I'm one of them, because I can't afford. Not making enough money.
Lyft did not respond to our request for comment. In a statement, Uber says they are giving drivers increased cash back at the pump when they use their Uber Pro card. The intention is to provide relief for drivers and delivery people while rider and consumer prices remain stable and affordable. But some drivers say it's not enough to cover the sky-high price at the pumps.
Can you make money on Uber with the price?
No. And Uber do not increase the price also.
For Erla Phillips, she wants companies like Uber and Lyft to change how they pay their drivers.
This is a service that people rely on, a service that people value, but the companies don't value us. We take all the liability, we take all the expense on our shoulders, and they continue to lower pay.
And this is the reality for many gig workers who are struggling. It's a reminder, Erla Phillips says, to be kind and also tip if possible. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
The latest round of grants to make communities more resilient to extreme weather includes money for several projects in southern Alberta. Some funding will go to the Horsefly Spillway to help divert more water from the St. Mary River Irrigation Canal to the Old Man River. The Municipal District of Pitcher Creek will get money to improve the Terrio Dam Spillway and explore water efficiency to increase agricultural production. Funds will also help address drainage and overland flooding in the Municipal District of Taber. This is the second of a 5-year provincial plan to spend $125 million on drought and flood protection. The town of Sylvan Lake will remain a town for the foreseeable future. Town administration brought forward the idea of changing to city status about 4 years ago. A report to council earlier this week weighed the pros and cons. It ultimately concluded changing from a town to a city would be a strategic choice, not a response to service or funding gaps. Town council decided continuing as a town would best serve the people who live there for now. Netflix is celebrating the grand opening of its new animation studios in Vancouver. It says the new studio employs more than 450 people and will generate over $100 million a year. Netflix says the next big project the studio is working on is the feature film titled Steps. It's a reimagining of the story of Cinderella's stepsisters, featuring the voices of Ali Wong and Amanda Seyfried. Coming up, science nuggets from an 11-year-old.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been more in the biology sector, but now I'm shifting towards a mix of biology and physics.
Preteen Genius shares his love of science online. Stay with us.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Friday on your morning, spring seems to have finally arrived. We're shaping up for a warm weekend that could enter double digits. We'll tell you everything you need to know to enjoy the weekend.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
A young science enthusiast is inspiring people to be curious about their world. ABC's Danny New reports.
Hey guys, learning with Sean the Science Kid here, and have you ever wondered why we get paper cuts?
For Sean Adechobi of Georgia, he's pretty much always been old enough to teach adults about science.
So, Sean, how old are we now? 12?
Well, 11 going on 100.
You're 11 going on 100.
Over the past few years, Sean has picked up more than 1 million followers on social media while sharing his love of science.
Today you are going to learn about the heart.
Starting when he was around 5 years old.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been more in the biology sector, but now I'm shifting towards a mix of biology and physics.
Maybe not surprising to hear, but Sean is also a bit of a genius. This past year, this now 11-year-old skipped from 6th grade to 9th grade, which he and his mother Eunice do not seem surprised about.
At 3 years, he was 2nd grade level.
3 years old, he was 2nd grade level?
Yes. We got to know he could read at 9 months, so that's kind of where the journey started.
However, despite Sean's advanced intellect...
Did you know that you produce 1 to 2 liters of saliva daily?
He says it's very important to him to keep science accessible. He never wants to sound like...
Actually, I've made the most prestigious discovery in science ever. Instead of actually educating people, you're just bragging about your brain.
This is your brain, and this is your heart.
So even with his increasing workload, Sean is continuing his mission to spread his love of science, with his sights set on reaching college by 13. Meanwhile, most of us have already long forgotten what we learned in high school.
What is the equation for kinetic energy?
K equals... Oh, boy.
Sean told me his dream school is Stanford, and he also told me our stomachs have a layer of mucus that replenishes itself every few days. Isn't learning fun? In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
That is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. I'm Jeff Hastings. Have a great evening.